You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is...
Josh Schaefer.
I was really hoping you were just going to be like...
I was going to, but I was going to go, you want some candy? Want some candy?
This week we're going to be talking about Predator, which we have covered, I think, a couple times already.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great 80s flick.
Podcasts. But I want to bring it up again because the nerd news for this week is only a little old. I mean, we're always going to be behind the times with these things. But the teaser for the new Hulu show. Oh, we were talking about last week about Hulu and what the hell is on Hulu. Look at that. Prey. The new Predator show, Prey, which honestly... Of all the things they could have done, I love that title for
Me too.
it. Yeah,
Me too.
that's an amusing little like pun on that. But Prey is coming out, and it looks like it's set around like a Native American tribe that the Predator comes down to. So making it a prequel to pretty much everything we've seen about Predator.
Because we haven't seen anything, I mean, unless you count this 80s.
The 80s is the earliest. Like, I think that's the earliest we got, because even Predators was, although it had a very Vietnam War feel, was definitely like Afghanistan era set on an alien planet.
Yep.
So, but like, I think one of the characters there might have been from the Vietnam War because he was on there forever.
Yeah.
But like, we've never had anything that's gone earlier than like 1970s, 1980s at all. So, and to have something set like during ancient times, that's interesting. Like, I'm kind of curious what the show's going to be like. Does the Predator use less weapons because he wants to even the playing field, or does he just not give a shit?
I don't think he cares because in the trailer you see the 3 laser dots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that like, but he doesn't necessarily have to use his gun. He could use his like spinning blade or something, which is a little easier to dodge. Yeah, something. Like, it's curious to see, like, how far they're going to take it. Because it's, like, obsidian knife versus a guy that can, like, make himself active camouflaged. Not fair.
No. No.
Not fair at all.
In which, you know, is it really about the hunt at that point? If he's fighting people with bows and arrows?
And that's the thing. That's the continuity that's been established, not from the first movie. The first movie had, like, no continuity really established.
It was just
there.
an alien.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger beats him up.
Alien shows up and woo. Which we're going to cover in a bit, because I want to talk about that. But it was with the second movie that the whole idea of the hunt really started beginning. That the Predators are there for more than just being a bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're going to take the continuity of the hunt, then what the hell does the Predator learn, like, going out and killing a Native American? Like, you have guns, they don't. Like, you hell, just drop smallpox on them, you know, like.
Yeah, well, and then like you have like I can see it in the sense of Native Americans stereotypically are, you know, trackers and hunters themselves.
Yeah. Like, there's some cool things you could do with it, and I mean, we all know that for some reason the Predators have a weakness to cold mud.
So. Isn't it messes with their thermal
dynamics, I don't want to really touch on the original movie too much yet, but that movie was set in a jungle.
Yeah.
With like army dudes running around in the jungle, and somehow their heat signature is brighter than the jungle, which is 100 degrees. Like, I
don't know enough about that stuff to know.
When you really think about it, the heat signatures, like, they should have been detected for being too cold, not for being too warm.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that doesn't quite work for me, but that quibble aside.
Yeah.
Like,
because isn't there a thing in Predator lore where they always show up during like severe heat waves or in very hot and humid places?
That was established by the second movie, which was that they show up in hot places because that's the temperature they like or something. Like, it's very vague.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was that or if it was because that's when human emotions are just like heightened,
probably
or
all
something.
kinds of things.
I don't know.
It's very weird. This addresses something that the movies have never clarified. The continuity is really bad.
Yes.
Yes. Like, the Alien continuity is not great, but the Predator continuity is so much worse.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you get, like, a movie that's huge and successful that was never meant to have a sequel by its very intent.
Yeah.
That then has a sequel and several more because the studio just tries to figure out what to do. And they didn't hire someone like James Cameron to do the sequel.
Yeah. Because I kind of like the second movie.
Danny Glover's okay. It's a very weird movie. I liked Predators better.
Yeah,
but that's just because
that's Adrian Brody, right?
Adrian Brody on the Robert Rodriguez movie, which is good, but it doesn't really add anything. It's just we're gonna collect people and dump them on our Predator planet so that they can be our big game preserve.
Yeah,
which is fine, but
it was like Hunger Games in space.
Yeah, but it doesn't really. It's another weird continuity twist that doesn't add anything.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Yeah.
So at least at the very least, Prey kind of throws a lot of that out because it's set so early. But at the same time, it's just like, well, we have a character that we don't know what to do with. Let's just have him fight someone different.
Yeah, which I am all for, like a True Detective, almost kind of a setup where one season we might see him fight Native Americans. Season 2, maybe he's in Rome.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say Matthew McConaughey drives around in a Lincoln, tries to solve these grisly murders.
And then, like, super nihilistic.
Yeah, and then finally he comes face to face with the Predator.
I mean, I'd watch that too. As long as as long as he's the same character. What was his name? Russ? Like, as long as he's that character from True Detective.
It would be amazing. Oh my god, that would be so hilarious.
And Woody Harrelson is around. I mean, Woody Harrelson did a good job. I don't want people to think I'm not saying that.
But the reason I think that the original Predator worked and why the sequels don't, and this is the big point that I wanted to get to, not so much about Prey. Prey's interesting, but we're not going to be able to judge that until it comes out.
Yeah, we have a 40-second trailer, right?
Exactly. A 40-second teaser that shows us nothing but a Native American.
Yeah.
Predator, the original one, whether or not people picked up on it, but it's true. Predator is a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's big, dumb, bulky action dudes that were popular in the 1980s. A bunch of them all get together for one movie. It's like the Expendables.
I was about to say it's the Expendables.
Except instead of going and fighting terrorists, they all get killed one by one. It's like, you think these are the guys that can survive anything and kill everyone? Watch them get brutally murdered.
Yeah.
So it's a parody.
It's kind of like the action bro take on the Alien franchise.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's also written with this just enough like it's a very dark movie, especially in the back half. But it's written like they go in and they attack that drug cartel base in the jungle, and it's so over the top, like Rambo 3 style action.
Yeah.
Which then suddenly it becomes this dark, moody horror movie, like right at a certain central cut. It has the same trend that From Dusk Till Dawn.
I was about to say it's From Dusk Till Dawn, but with
like,
an alien.
Halfway, like if you pause it for a bathroom break right around the point where the Predator's about to show up, and then you start again, you'd think you're watching a different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's that thing where that's part of the parody of it. It sets up these big, dumb Rambo guys that can't die and just like sit there with their machine guns blaring, yelling at the screen. Everything explodes. And it's a parody of action movies right there.
Yeah.
And then suddenly all of them die. And you're sitting there going, holy fuck, this is the thing that can kill them all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always thought of it as kind of like a campy horror comedy.
It is. It is. In its own way.
Yeah.
But the other movies don't do that.
So.
They don't understand. They think it's a straight horror movie with action parallels to it, but that's not really what the first movie was going for. And I think the movies that have worked best since then are the ones that at least embrace the concept, even if they don't understand how to embrace the parody of it. Predators is fine. Predators is a very watchable action movie. It doesn't have the same spark because we already know. And that's the other problem I have that goes along with it. There's no mystery to it.
No, because we already know.
We already know.
Most of them are going to die.
Yeah. I mean, the casting against type, having non-action people playing the action stars was fine.
Yeah.
But how do you make a proper sequel to Predator that isn't that works? I mean, I guess that's the problem I have, you know?
Yeah, well, I think the second one tried to explain too much about the lore when you don't really need it.
You don't need it.
You don't need any, like...
The mystery's solved. Why do we care what else is going to happen? Yeah.
And then I think they try to humanize the Predator a little too much. Like, it's like, oh, you know, he won't kill this lady because she's pregnant.
She's pregnant and she's not armed.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah, it created the rule of if you're not carrying a weapon, the Predator doesn't care about you, which, honestly, the Predators movie kind of canceled out, too. Yeah. And the less we say about the Predator, the better.
Oh, that movie. I didn't even watch it. I watched the second or third trailer that came out. I was like, ugh.
Oh, it was a piece of dog shit. That's for damn sure. It was bad.
Yeah, then you had the AVP movies in between.
Which, oh my God.
We're okay.
I mean, and
it's like the Jason versus Freddy stuff.
So
like,
AVP raises a point. I know we rebooted the quote unquote rebooted the Predator a little while back, and the best idea that we had was like almost it was entirely a Predator Planet set movie, but we follow the Predators for like 45 minutes, no subtitles, just watching them speaking in their own language, and the only story we get is from their body language and what they do, which would be a completely different idea. Everyone would hate it, but I think I would be a brilliant movie.
I think people would be more apt to watch that.
Well, let's put it this way. It would cost $150 million to make, and you'd be lucky if it made $150 million in theaters.
Yeah.
Just because of 45 minutes of Predator language and nothing else.
Yeah, I would I would like to see something from the point of view of the Predator.
Uh-huh.
Because like when you play a Predator video game, for example,
exactly.
You don't play as a Marine, you play as the Predator.
Well, that was what I was going to get back to, was the video games that people like from the AVP franchise. Feature you playing as a Space Marine, but they also feature you playing as an alien, and they feature you playing as a Predator. And each of them always have their own storyline.
Yeah.
So you get equal time with each character. So whether or not you care about the Predator from the human perspective, you actually get to care about them from the alien perspective, which makes it different. We don't get that perspective. The movies can't do that. The movies are always very cut and dry. Humans fight Predator, humans win.
And there's always going to be one survivor.
Yeah, always. It's bad. It's always... Or one... In the case of the Predator, one survivor and his autistic son.
Yeah.
Which, that autistic trope again. I know people hate that trope so much. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's the same thing as with LGBTQ plus or anything else. It's more impactful if it's just the way it is. You know, it's part of the character, sure.
Yeah.
But...
Well, the problem with... okay, so this is kind of off topic, but it's because it's the Predator and we're talking about it. The problem a lot of people have is that by saying you're autistic, but suddenly, because you're autistic, you're also a miracle worker with one thing, which is what the movie does.
Like the Rain Man?
Yeah, the Rain Man. He can just... The kid just suddenly Rain Mans the Predator armor and figures out how to use it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's not really autism. And now you've rendered it into a superpower and have diminished all the problems that the autistic actually have to deal with.
Yeah.
At least that's what's explained to me. I'm not autistic. I'm just going off what people tell me.
Yeah.
But people who actually have autistic children really hate this trope.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, I have a few friends that have autism or have kids that have autism, and they say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just... It's like, why?
Why? That's not how it works, guys. The one movie I think that has gotten the closest so far has been The Accountant with Ben Affleck, which we mentioned last week, which still treats it a bit like a superpower because he's just super great at mathematics.
Yeah.
But he also struggles in his daily life, and they depict all of that.
So, while we're on topic of that,
the
autistic people that I know say that the best representation of autism in movies is actually Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like every single one of them, because I've had this conversation with them, and Drax every single time. The first top answer, Drax.
Well, yeah, because he's very literal.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really understand people, but he tries.
But
he's a good character. People like him. I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I was the first time I heard that I was like, huh, that makes sense. So the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I'm like,
okay, well,
there's a theme here.
There's a data point here. Yeah.
It's like all right. So other movie creators, just make Drax.
Put Drax in your movies,
which I would be okay with.
So, but like I'm trying to sit here going, how do you make a good sequel? A proper sequel to The Predator that honors what the first movie was actually about? And this was something that occurred to me in the shower, so we're not doing an official reboot. But I'm not being like, Josh, on the spot, what's your idea for sequel? No,
we already did this.
No,
I don't remember, but Peter Dinklage was
No. You put Predator in Full House, and that was fucking brilliant.
That's right.
Oh my God,
right.
I died at that. But no, like, I was trying to think and go, like, realistically, how would you make a proper sequel? Because the sequels we have gotten have lost the thread. They don't understand what made the first movie special. And the best I can think of is, like, you can't do an 80s parody spoof now because those kinds of action movies just don't get made anymore.
No.
What we get are the Takens and the John Wicks. And
John Wicks.
And I'm sitting there going, so what? Do you hire Liam Neeson and Keanu Reeves and Bob Odenkirk? And then in my head, I'm like, and Jodie Foster, because she did Hotel Artemis.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do? You put them together as our current crop of like senior action stars that go and fight a predator? Because let's face it, any single one of them, if you're like, who'd win in a fight, Predator or John Wick? And everyone's going to be like, John Wick. Yeah. So I'm like, and back in the 80s, who would win a fight, Predator or Arnold Schwarzenegger? You just say Arnold Schwarzenegger by default because that's what always happened.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's like, the Predator's really powerful. So if you put a bunch of these action stars together, like he'd cut through most of that. Your superior set of skills, yeah, it's not going to do anything against a cloaked guy with laser shots. You know.
Well, and I think another thing too that I just thought of, is that it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek social commentary as well about, it starts up with American Commandos going somewhere where kind of almost in my head, it was imperialistic.
Yeah.
Against the drug trade.
Yeah.
So in order to make it work, you'd have to find something similar to that. So like maybe drop a Predator in Ukraine. And I think another reason why Predator worked was because you didn't really have those big name actors. Like, you had Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, sure, but like, I think it works better if you don't know who the hero's supposed to be.
Well, I think that kind of works in the sense of if you get like a bunch of these senior action stars that are all doing this, like Bob Odenkirk and Keanu Reeves and so forth, you don't know which one of them is supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
Because they're all the guy. So suddenly none of them are the guy.
Yeah, which I think was what the logic was with Predators.
Yeah. When you have like Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura all in the same movie, and they're all just like, Grah! Yeah, that's still the same kind of thing. Yeah. So,
because when I was a kid, I for sure thought Carl Weathers was going to go all the way through the movie. And then when he died, I was still shocked. So, but I was also like 10 or 8.
He got his due. He got to be on Arrested Development. It's fine. No, it's fine.
When it was good.
Yeah. When it was good. Yeah. Oh, man, we forgot to mention that during Netflix. Shit, that could have been that. Oh, well. But, yeah, no, so in my head, this sequel that would actually work if you could actually get Liam Neeson, Keanu Reeves, and all these people together, which you can't. Let's just be honest. No. Keanu Reeves doesn't do these kinds of movies. He likes to do action movies, and he likes to do dumb movies, but this is not his speed.
Tom Cruise. He would actually fit in this one.
He would. You could put him in here.
Mission Impossible 8 against a Predator.
And my thought was you put all of them, and you do Jodie Foster, because I just like the idea of including Jodie Foster because she was in Hotel Artemis, even though she wasn't the big action star. Wasn't that Batista?
Batista, yeah.
He was in that.
You could put Gal Gadot in there, too.
You could put Batista in this, if we're going to do it.
Why not?
Yeah. And then I thought, like, if you're going to put all these in, Jodie Foster's in there, make Jodie Foster play a parody of Clarice Starling.
Oh.
Just the FBI agent who's in amongst all. And I even like the idea of her winning, being the one to win. Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of pretty high tiered action stars because you have like Henry Cavill. Who I would watch
I would watch him do that too. Yeah. Damn. But I really like the idea of all these like action stars, quote unquote action stars, that aside from Keanu Reeves never really were action stars, like Bob Odenkirk and Nobody.
Yeah.
That's such a great movie, but you wouldn't think he'd be an action star.
No, it was just the same feeling as when you saw Bryan Cranston be a meth
the drug dealer, after being on Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, it's the same vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's done great performance work on Better Call Saul. Great show.
Yeah.
But that's not something where you'd sit there going, yeah, you should be the next John Wick.
Kicking through doors and shooting people.
But it was so good.
It was good. But
So,
yeah, we have a lot of action stars. That
you'd have to do it in a very you'd have to get the guy who does the John Wick and all the other action movies, like Atomic Blonde and Nobody and all those. Give him a small budget.
Who, Charlize Theron could be in it too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Small budget, put them together, get some decent B-grade action stars. I don't think you get Keanu Reeves, but you can probably get like Liam Neeson will make anything.
Yeah.
And you could get Bob Odenkirk probably and a few others. And you put them in this movie and you have them film it more in the John Wick style. Who'd you think of?
I don't know why.
Who'd you think of?
Larry David. I don't know.
It's not right.
I don't know. Just Larry David just walking around New York and runs into a predator, and just in my head, and then the theme song, the theme plays. Like, I don't know, just.
But you put a bunch of these guys, and you got to do it in a very like set it in like East Berlin or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and so it's like Atomic Blonde era, but with like very John Wick style filming, and these guys are running around like the ruins of like some blown out buildings after the war and so forth, and then a predator shows up. Like, that setting works, and it still gets that vibe we're looking for of, like, parodying current action movies.
So, I think a cool movie idea, just off the 12 seconds after my late Larry David high, have it set in, like, 1943, and have the Germans and the Americans kind of fight over it. Because, remember, it has atomic...
Time of war.
The time of war, but the Predators also have atomic... self-destruct thing. So that's how that was actually the Manhattan Project.
Ooh, that's a nice way to tie it. Oh, and then they could be battling over it, and that's why the stars get sent in, is to try and steal the bomb before. Ooh.
And Bob Odenkirk has a very similar resemblance to Oppenheimer too.
I like this. This is good. I didn't mean to do a reboot here, but
we accidentally did one.
Yeah, we did.
And we can still have Larry David as Einstein.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I really just like him being like a guy wandering around New York and like drops his bagel and gets killed. Yeah. So
it's such a Larry David way to die. Just, you a predator?
The death about nothing.
I don't even know why that popped in my head.
I don't know either.
Just
it's great.
I haven't watched Curb Your Enthusiasm for a while.
Minute. Yeah.
I mean, the last one I watched was the one where he started wearing the MAGA hat to get people to leave him alone.
So wrong.
It was funny.
Anyway, so I think there's a possibility for a Predator sequel that could work, but the problem is, of course, the fact that getting the studio to sign off on something that's
or hiring
weird.
us to write this stuff for them.
I wish they would.
I want to watch that World War II one now.
Yeah, but trying to get a studio to do that when what they want is the later day Predators that they've clearly been making, because they just want simple.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, and that's why I think the movie industry is failing as hard as it is because people don't want simple. Like, even Marvel movies aren't simple.
No,
like.
I mean, they are, but they aren't. The Marvel movies, like, the parts that people like are the character depth and the things that expand the universe. The parts that people tend to gripe about is when the Marvel movies descend into cookie cutter action.
Yeah.
So people bitch a lot less about Spider-Man's most recent one because that film never really boiled down to the same cookie cutter beats that other movies did.
No, and it surprised me because I didn't like. I mean, it's been out for almost a year now, right? Or 6 months. Spider-Man, so spoiler alert. Like, when they killed Aunt May.
Yeah.
No, did not see that coming.
Okay, I'm just putting out a rule. You don't need to spoiler something that you spoiled like 2 podcasts ago.
Spoiler alert. How do I know? Maybe someone's going from newest to
spoiler
oldest.
Alert. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So, but no, I mean, I guess then in that case, by the way, the Predator dies in the first movie.
In the second movie. And I think the Predators as well.
They killed the Predators that are chasing them, but then more Predators show up.
I'm really sad that we didn't get a sequel to that.
I know, right? Robert Rodriguez said he had sequels in mind, but it just didn't do well enough, which shows that what Fox is doing isn't working. At the very least, they should swing for the fences and do our big Predator Planet movie.
Yeah.
Like, I could even get a trilogy out of it, but Predator Planet, The Hunt, where they're prepping for the hunt, and then 45 minutes in, suddenly American soldiers show up and just start blasting the village apart. Oh my god, that'd be great. Yeah. I'd watch this. But
yeah, and I'm also curious why, out of everything in the galaxy, why humanity is the one that they
always come back to. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's just so they have an audience surrogate, I'm sure. Yeah. This has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein, sadly killed in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
I'm Josh. Get to the chopper. Shaker.
And we will see you next time.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper! It's not a tuba.